Same world, different perception. Hello, all you sweaty tryhards, and welcome back to the BLT podcast. I am your host, Mikoy, and I'm joined, as always,
with Poke Art 2004. Hello.
Who claims to be not a sweaty tryhard, instead is a casual viewer, now that her team is gone. Spoilers!
I was never a sweaty tryhard, Mikoy.
But you are
That's why I didn't bother to learn any Gen 9 tiers for the most part, outside of quals.
So did I! Well, I've transitioned out of competitive because I'm not as sweaty as tryhard as everyone else in the Tours community, apparently. I've retired, and I'd like to not learn, because that would only make my personality worse. Alright, last time we covered the season recap and semifinals predicts, and now it's time to learn the semis have already passed, and finals is on us. And no games have been played, hopefully.
Not yet, but I think there will be. I know there's a game on Thursday.
And that's gonna be the earliest we will see. Alright, so.
I'm not sure if that's the earliest, but that's what I know of so far.
Okay then. Alright, so let's review these semis games and see who actually made finals. It should be exciting, or it would be the worst day of your life. I know Pokeart, I know which side Pokeart's on. Alright, first off, oh boy, we are going to cover your team first. The Resort City Rufflets being beaten by the Flame Slinger Skelegeorges.
Robbed. You mean robbed.
Robbed? Is this your bias because you're a team player?
No. If you go through the games, you'll understand.
Objectively robbed, as Pokeart is wanting to argue. Alright.
Sure, it didn't look that way at first, but in hindsight, yes.
We were wrong.
We were.
Alright, first off, we have SVOU. We got VK beating JJ09 Lee. This was one of your positive approaches today. So, this game was interesting. Alright. This game had some interesting moments that happened that I'm going to show you off right now. First off, VK immediately having the advantage with that turn 6 crit on Clefable with the Earth Power right there, leading to Clefable.
That was a lovely crit, yes.
JJ did try roaring out Dragonite with Zamazenta after it sets up 2 Dragon Dances. However, VK thought ahead and switched out to Great Tusk on turn 15, only for Zamazenta to actually bring back Dragonite to the field. But without the boosts. So he was still carrying that momentum highly. Iron Valiant did get to knock out both Clefable and Terra Water Slowking after a setup of Calm Mind and Moonblast / Shadow Ball, respectively.
Do you mean that in the reverse order?
Actually, yes, it may have been the reverse order, because Moonblast killed the Clef.
You don't moonblast a Slowking before it Terras.
Then Terra Waters, and then it dies to a Moonblast.
Yep, he called the Terra. He first Shadow Balled it, then called the Terra, and killed it with Moonblast.
Which was very nice. Very nicely done by VK there. Then, the highlight of this game was the Goldango, which Terra Fairy to resist Zamazenta's Body Presses attempt, and used
Though, ironically, it would have been immune to that anyway.
And used Slackberry to gain speed to Dazzling Gleam to an Oko on this turn 27, and Recovery against Gliscor, which allowed it to basically be in a good position.
Tried to knock it for some reason.
I don't know why. The Slackberry was already done, and it was already Terra Fairy'd, so I think, yeah, that's it. I mean, JJ was already in a losing position, so...
Our matchup was good, admittedly, But VK also played that wonderfully.
He did play that better, so...
And thankfully, nothing bad happened, even though a lot of bad things could have definitely happened. Dragonite could have gotten burned from steam eruption. Our Valiant could have gotten poisoned and died.
Thankfully, none of those things happened.
But that didn't happen.
Thankfully, none of those things happened. The game was mostly clean, as Pokeyard would like to have.
The only thing that actually happened was the crit.
The unclean, mostly unclean. Mostly clean when that crit happened. Anyway, alright, next up we have...
Please cut out the burps.
Yeah, I did. Next up we have one of the games that didn't matter because this was played after... Oh no! This was the game that was lost on you guys.
This is the game that lost us the week, Mikoi!
Yeah, this is the game that lost you the week, which was very unfortunate. SVOU, we got Frozoid, who subbed in... Wait. What was the sub situation on this one? Oh yeah, it was supposed to be Avarice versus Maverick shooters, but due to a some scheduling issues, we've now double subbed and got Geomancy to play Frozoid. Alright, so this game was interesting. This game had some interesting sets that we would like to show you. First off, is turn 5, where we saw the Terra Ice Landorus Therian going for Terra Blast to beat Gliscor, which was the early advantage point for Geomancy, which was very nice. Frozoid, well, I noticed this. Frozoid kind of misplayed on turn 15 by going for Encore against the Magic Bounce of Tren, which caused Samurott...
That was not the only misplay there.
Which caused the Samurai Hisui to die via Dazzling Gleam.
You forgot turn 12. Clefable used Magic Bounce. Adderine bounced it back.
Oh yeah, he also got rocks on his side. Basically, Frozoid had a bad time against a Tren, who had Magic Bounce. Don't forget. Yeah, so the Tren...
Yeah, the Encore on Hatterene, was very bad, because,
you needed
I understand what he wanted to do. He wanted to lock into Psychic Noise, but,
You had...
it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you could have gone for Cecil's Edge to try to get some layers in. Although, I don't know if that works again.
No, he just shouldn't have gone into Samurott, period.
Oh. Right. Why go for Samurott anyway? Just switch into, well, for example, Skeletor's right here. Yeah, indirectly, it led to Skeletor did getting paralyzed from Nuzzle and taking damage from Dragonite's Earthquake, which he kind of needed Skeletor, like, big, also
yeah,
fully...
then there was Skeletor getting parried, which was unfortunate because we couldn't burn or hit the Dragonite.
Yeah, you could have taken a hit and be safe with it, but yeah, that paralyzed and getting fully paralyzed really hurt Skeletor in the long run. All Frozoid had left was the Body Slam Terranormal Alamomola, who, along with Ogerpon, tried wish stalling and pivoting to kill Hatren. He actually got the kill on Hatren, but Dragonite's Outrage did kill them both in the end.
Yeah, because Frozoid misplayed again.
Frozoid did
misplay. By using Flip Turn.
Why did
instead of actually wish stalling.
Why did he go for Flip Turn on that turn?
Because he misclicked.
RIP. But yeah, he was in a much worse position at that point because Terra Ice Landorus was still alive, Ogerpon was still alive and kicking, Roaring Moon was still mostly healthy. Basically, Geomancy was still in a good position to still take this, but yeah. Unfortunate, but Geomancy took the win there.
Team said this matchup was like, not the greatest, but not the worst either.
It was winnable.
So I guess matchup wasn't a super big factor.
Okay, fair enough. SV Ubers. This may have been the biggest bad omen you have because Sky, you actually beat Richard Millie Plain here in Ubers. Yikes. Well, this game was an interesting one. Well, Sky.
Why are you having trouble finding games?
Oh, come on! It's been a long day. It's been a long day. I know it's only two
Decoy,
pages.
the replay thread has all of them right on one thing, on one post.
Oh, you're right, but that's not the order that's not in the order I usually cover these games. Okay.
But you can go in the order you usually cover them. You know what teams you're talking about, and it labels which team is which.
I know, but I'm lazy. I like to check the OG posts. Anyway.
I don't know if that's being more lazy or less.
Anyway, Sky versus Richard, which Richard lost and Sky won. Okay, Sky did have the advantage early on using Miraidon to knock out Landers on turn 5 after it got off rocks. Then Terra Ferried against a Swords Dancing Miraidon to knock it out with Dragon Pulse on turn 7. Nearly knocking out Arceus Fairy with Electro Drift before getting paralyzed by Thunder Wave. And then Arceus then Swords Danced on turn 10, allowing to E-Speed kill Eternatus, and nearly knocking off Miraidon, who lived on 1% on turn 12 before dying to Electro Drift.
Our expert EVs kick in again. Alas, it is not enough.
It is not enough. Also, you were in a losing position at that point. You were 3 mons down to 6 mons. Well, now 5 on Skyu's part. Final turns, though, saw the Calyrex using Trick Room to try and outspeed and Glacial Lance some of Sky's team, but it proved to be too tanky and withstood most of its attacks, and Tinglu outsped Calyrex actually in Trick Room to Earthquake kill it and win Sky this game.
I'm confused. What do you mean it tanked most of it when it wasn't even out for half the Trick Room turns?
Well, the moments that it was,
My point being, you completely forgot to cover a play that a lot of people questioned.
Which was? Did
you yourself not question this?
I may have glossed over it. Please explain, so that my brain can handle. Calyrex being switched out and to Arceus Fairy, and him going to Tinglu. Oh, I see. Why didn't he try to attack it with Calyrex? Why didn't he go for Glacial Lance regardless?
Yes, bear in mind the mon out before was a Ho-Oh.
Which took 50.
That was under half.
Which took 50, yeah. I mean, yeah. He did 54, actually. 54. Yeah, why didn't Richard go for the kill there against the... Well, why didn't he try to attack still with Tinglu regardless, catching that switch? That was a questionable play.
Apparently that was Richard's last hope.
The Cali?
No, the play.
Oh, that particular play. Okay. Yeah.
Wow, you just...
I don't
think you even understand why. You're just going with it.
Yeah, just go with it. I mean, you explain it. You explain it for my smooth brain can understand it better.
I don't understand why you're just going with it if you don't get it.
I don't. Explain. So explain.
So, fun fact, that Arceus was running Healing Wish.
Was it now?
It was.
Oh, well then.
See, Richard thought it was possible that since Sayu probably thought he was most likely going for Glacial Lance again, that he may have switched in Zacian to take that, and further stall out the Trick Room turns. Had Skyu in fact sent out Zacian, Arceus Fairy comes out that turn. It's slower in Trick Room, so it gets to use Healing Wish to revive Calyrex back to full health.
Okay.
Only then can Calyrex properly steamroll.
Okay. I see. Alright.
I believe Richard still had his Terra then, too.
He did. He never used it, I don't think. Yeah, he never used it. He was saving that Terra. So, yeah. That was kind of a risky but very, very optimal play that Richard could have made, but unfortunately he didn't. Couldn't foresee that he would.
What do you mean he didn't? What do you mean he didn't make it? I literally just explained the play he made.
He didn't foresee that he could that Sky switched in Tanglo. Okay, clear. Case closed. There.
Or like he didn't see that Sky actually didn't have any real reason to switch in Zacian and run that risk.
Okay, there. Case
because
closed.
His mines were enough to stall out Trick Room anyway.
Yeah, well, you could have maybe switched out to try to stall a quick turn. Okay, fair enough. That's the end of that game. Sky took the win. Richard, unfortunately, taking an L there. Alright. Next up.
Look. A guy who plays hundreds of Uber's games is a little hard to scout.
Okay. Next up, we have SVUU, the best game of this damn tour. Best game of this damn week, actually. Why didn't I include this in the awards? Well, it's funny. It's Yippee Dreepy versus Just Drew. Again, this game...
yeah.
Again, this game was really funny. If you were there live, you would know the absolute dying laughter that me and Pokeyard were doing for this game. Alright, this was actually hyped. This was actually a hyped game by the majority of the Rufflets. So, it finally came to...
These two, they have beef, I think. I don't know what the deal is, but Yippee, for a lot of the tour, was like, let me fight Drew. I want to fight Drew. I want to beat Drew.
Well, he got his chance, and he actually did. So let's see how that happened. First off, we have Yippee setting up that Komo-o with Clanger's Soul Blaze. However, Tinkaton was able to live its hits well to chip it with Play Rough before eventually dying, leaving low kicks to revenge kill it with First Impression. Yippie's Ogre Pawn then dodged Latios' Draco Meteor. Even though it was -2 special attack, it still managed to dodge it, setting up that Swords Dance safely, and Oko killing it with knockoff. Then Terra rocked and Embody Aspect to live Low Kicks' First Impression to kill it, and Ivy Cudgel kill it, Oko it, eventually losing to Terra's Steel Hydrapple's Giga Drain. Then Iron Crown managed to hit Focus Blast on Ursaluna, actually got the hit off on turn 16.
Yeah, crazy, I know.
Okoing the Ursaluna on turn 16, managing to kill that, dodging Rotom's Hydro Pump to deliver Psychic Noise damage the next turn, and yeah, GG. The forfeit and the win. And
yeah. Yippee wasn't terribly happy with his win because the dodging of the Draco Meteor was pretty major, actually.
Yeah, I guess him getting off scot-free following the Draco was detrimental. Because low kicks would have come in and whoop, first impression did to death.
But Drew's reaction in the end is funny because he says LOL and forfeits. Like, bro, the game doesn't matter. That miss didn't matter. Your team is in the finals. Shut it.
Yes, exactly. So Drew lost. Yippee won. Congratulations, Yippee. You are now undefeated. I think.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
You're proud of your boy. Alright, next up, SVRU. We got Lime versus Fellyburn. Well, this game was interesting. Much more interesting than the one they had the week 7. Tenacious Feraligatr started off strong, with it dodging burns from Slowbro's Scald and tanking its Psyshock's it first to Sword Stand safely and chip it with...
Of course it started off strong. It's named after Maverick Shooters.
The name speaks for the omen, I guess. Chipping it with Liquidation, as well as Okoing Noivern with it on turn 6 in a hard switch-in, only dying to Lycanroc Accelerock. Terrakion then got up to set up rocks, allowing Yanmega to come in safely, and again, remember our talk last week about Yanmega potentially having unlocked potential when, being the dominant force that it is? Yeah.
I think we talked about this a little further back than that.
But yes. Yanmega got to set up with the Throat Spray, Speed Boost, and Terra Grounded to beat Mokalola with the Terra Blast on turn 13, sweeping the entirety of Felly's team in the end because it was weak to ground because, Terra Steel, Terra Poison actually, Slowbro, Jirachi, friggin' Lycanroc, we're all weak to ground.
Yeah, this is a pretty ground-weak team, especially after Slowbro terrored into something that is weak to ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand why Fellyburn did it, but, all it took was a Protect to not fall for that.
Mm-hmm. Yanmega is the Raj Mafia, forcing the Tanish win. Alright, next up, SVNU. Wadley versus Axortix.
We were robbed in this, just saying.
Okay, interesting team though by Wadley. I got a comment. Brambleghast, Cloyster, Diancie, Heracross, Ambipom, Vaporeon. I don't think I've seen this this combination of Mons in an NU game.
Well, that's because it's a rather unusual team. You'd be right.
Yeah,
it is anti-HO, as he was convinced that Axortix would cheese him.
But nope, look.
Alas,
but look, Axortix had bulk. The team had bulk.
A bulk team that loses to most other bulk teams, according to what Wadley said about it.
Well, Incineroar did get to tank Ambipom's attacks and knocked off Diancie's Power Herb in the process, as well as...
I would just like to say something about that.
Okay.
Ambipom only hit one triple axle. Little did we know, this would come back to destroy Wadley later.
Oh, was it really the catalyst of what things to come?
Well, in theory, it may not have mattered. But thanks to what happened later, it most certainly did.
Well, let me...
Had it hit even one more time, I think Wadley could have very well won. In fact, he says he would have won.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see what happens. So, yeah. Turn 3, we saw the knockoff on Diancie's Power Herb. Power Herb Diancie. Terra stealing Rotom against a Shell-smashing Cloyster. It was pretty nice, although it missed an overheat on turn 7.
Yeah. Although I gotta wonder what Wadley was running on that Cloyster, because I thought it was the best thing when that overheat missed, but maybe we just didn't have anything to hit steel.
Yeah, I guess we didn't have any water moves, which is unfortunate. Alright.
No, let me see what we have. Oh, yeah. Terra still did wall it.
Really?
Ooh.
What was the fourth move? Shell Smash, Rock Blast?
Terra Blast.
What was its Terra?
Grass.
Grass. Aww. Rip. That's unfortunate.
Guess that's for Vaporeon or whatever it's
Yeah, it
to
is.
be
It is.
for.
Yeah, it maybe is for Vaporeon. Okay, then what happened later? This one's gonna be the interesting part. Incineroar setting up the Incineroar really well. As much as that happened. All right, Trailblaze Incineroar with knockoff and Swords Dance against Bramblegast allowed Aftertux to sweep Wadley's team, knocking off both Ambipom and Vaporeon to death, and then eventually Flare Blitzing Terra Normal Heracross to win the game. So this is what you mentioned. I believe this is what you mentioned on turn 25, where Ambipom faked out Incineroar, and Incineroar actually got to 2%. Lived on 2%.
You'd be exactly right. That is the turn I mean.
And
had Ambipom killed that Incineroar, I think Wadley says Heracross won.
Heracross would have won? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Terra Normal.
Yeah, that Heracross,
Terra Normal.
Yeah, Terra Normal as he saw, but it also has Trailblaze.
Ooh. Well, I'm curious what the moveset is against Deflorigis, Mienshao, Gligar, and Vaporeon, which Axotix had left.
It's Terra Normal Facade, Close Combat, Megahorn, Trailblaze.
Ooh. Okay. That 100% kills Axotix's team. Well, except maybe Gligar attack. Well,
so
whatever.
Yeah, to further explain, had Triple Axel hit even one more time early in the game, the Incineroar would not have had enough to live that fake out.
Mm-hmm. That Ambipom had a strong fake out. 33%.
Another thing, according to Wadley, based on the common spread for that Incineroar set, fake out was a roll. He got the lowest roll.
Oh, that's even more unfortunate. Poor Wadley. Robbed.
Or, I don't know if it was the lowest, but I believe there was a pretty good chance to kill.
Robbed.
A rather high chance, and he did not get it.
Yeah, you're right. This was a robbery. This was a robbery and a half.
Yeah, and to make things worse, as if it wasn't already, not about the game itself, but the matchup was not good.
It was not good. It wasn't good at all. You tried bringing an anti-HO against that level of bulk.
Yeah, this was not a good matchup.
Yeah, don't expect. Alright, next up, we have SVPU. We got TGA versus Seraph Z. Oh boy, this is a game I want to relive over and over again. And I know PokeArt wants to relive it over and over again. Look at the excitement on her face right now. I'm just as heated, sorry. Okay. TGA, to his credit, did have the advantage early on, poisoning the Gastrodon.
To his credit, he played very well for most of the game.
Poisoning the Gastrodon with Belly Bolt immediately, beating it with Skuntank. Then neutering the Terra Poison Wo-Chien with Taunt and killing it with Knockoff. Then Meloetta actually got to beat Rotom Heat and Slowbro Galar with multiple Psy Shocks, with the crit kill on the latter on turn 27. So things are going great for TGA. You feel me? Like Seraph Z was down 2 Mons. It was down to his Florges and Flamigo, while TGA had 5 Mons. Should have been a win, right? Should be.
Although we were a little scared of that Florges. That Florges could have easily been trouble. Since I believe Skuntank was dead by this point. Yes, it was.
It was, yeah. That's unfortunate. But still, Billy Bolt got to hit a toxic. It still got to poison the freaking thing.
Oh yeah, another thing you forgot to mention, Mikoi.
What?
Apart from everything going our way and us playing well, we got a crit and killed the Slowbro Galar.
I did mention that.
That mattered, by the way.
I did mention that. The crit kill with the Psyshock and the turn and the 56% and the death, yes. Good turn that one for your Meloetta. Yeah, you got to poison the Florges though. That's a good thing. It's still on your side. Right? Right? The game should be won, right? Right?
Yes, that poison should have won the game. That Florges would not have been able to sweep, and Bellybolt dying means that we can send in Meloetta for free and start Psy-shocking the shit out of it.
But TGA did not switch in Meloetta. He switched in the Scyther against an already poisoned Florges, not tarrying it as it killed it with Moonblast. You know, it got to, dual wing beat it. Florges for friggin' lived on the yellow and tanked the Moonblast. Okay. Why even send it out in the first place instead of Meloetta? That just seems wrong.
You do not need your Meloetta anymore. Just send it out so we can take hits and kill the Florges. And then it just dies to Flamigo and its duty is fulfilled. Why would you send out your win con?
The win con should be Scyther, as it beats Flamigo either way. But no! This man did not send out the Meloetta, thinking that it could be useful for later as a useful Zap. But no! Wrong! Seraph ended up with sweeping TGA's team with Flamigo, outspeeding everything, even against his own Flamigo, to win the game.
I have to say, what TGA did was stupid.
And she's off the team. She's no longer freaking partners with her up, so she can say this whatever the hell she wants.
Because you see, Scarf Flamigo, it's a common set.
Yes.
So, and TGA himself is running a Scarf Flamigo.
Yes.
So I have to wonder, did he perhaps not consider that Seraph's Flamigo would also be a Scarf Flamigo? Did he perhaps think that he wouldn't need his Scyther? That his Scarf Flamigo would have taken care of the other Flamigo? Because there's no way it could also be scarfed and also happen to be of a nature that makes it faster.
I can tell you, PokeArt's not jolly in the situation.
Yeah, the chat, the team chat while watching this game
was really pissed. It was really pissed.
We were not, most of us were not quite aware of the doom that was coming our way when Scyther was sent out. Although I was one of the ones who expressed confusion at the play. I'm like, we go Meloetta here, we win. Wait, why did he send out Scyther? Why would he do that? Why did he do that? and they're like, it's fine, we just win. And then Sufi's, the one who actually has some PU knowledge, is like, why did he do that?
He sent
because like we're just like, well, our Flamigo is it's Scarf, so like we still win, right?
Right?
And then
you were relying on the freaking
Soupy says our Flamigo is adamant.
No, it was adamant nature all along. You wouldn't be jolly in this situation. You'd have to rely on the freaking speed type, but you'd be a dumb. Do not rely on speed ties.
Like, we can win a speed tie. We're adamant.
We're fucked in that situation. So yes, TGA ultimately screwed himself out of a 100% winnable game by doing that.
Had he literally sent in any mon that wasn't Scyther, Literally anything. The game was won. It was just won. Do you know why? Because the Scyther, it was Terra Electric, and we had not used her Terra yet.
Yeah, you didn't use your Terra yet, 100%. Like, the scarf would be locked in the Brave Bird, and yeah.
Exactly. Like, personally, Meloetta was the most ideal because it could take Moonblast and probably kill Florges, so the Flamigo could come out and have to lock into something to kill Meloetta, so we know exactly what's going to use, and thus, if it's Brave Bird, we Terra Electric Scyther and kill the Flamigo!
And you would have won. You have 100% won the game, but no, you did not. Reap the benefits of your sorrow, and it's a terrible day for Rain, and this is exactly what happened.
Yeah, this is the game where we were not robbed, but we robbed ourselves of a win.
Hey. Well, after that bullshittery, let's move on now to SVLC. We have Elfusan versus Tempo di Angoria.
It's funny. Elfusan brought something very special and quite interesting, yet didn't even need to use it.
I wonder what it is. Yeah.
I think you know what it is. I think you can see which mon is a little unusual here.
Crabrawler? Is it the Crabrawler?
It's the Crabrawler.
I wonder what set it was.
I can tell you.
Yeah, go for it. Tell the lovely folk.
It's Terra Electric, like a Scyther. with Bulk Up, Drain Punch, Thunder Punch, Ice Punch.
Wow. Terra Electric.
And Iron Fist.
Terra Electric against friggin' Lullaby?
Yeah, it's for Lullaby.
Okay. But you're dead against the Mudbray, but okay.
Are we dead against a Mudbray?
I know.
With a little chip, I think not.
I mean, okay, Bulk Up and Ice Punch, yeah, you'd be ballsy to do that.
Bulk Up, Ice Punch, with Iron Fist, bear in mind.
I mean, I've done it before. I have killed multiple Mudbrays with Bulk Up Ice Punch friggin' Crabrawler, but they're not Terra Electric. So ballsy strategy. Anyway, speaking of Mudbray, Elfusan's Mudbray won against Tempo's, delivering more damage with Earthquake despite the staminas, gaining the advantage early on, which was very nice. After Snubble failed to kill the Meanfu, Elfusan's Lullaby managed to live Tempo's high jump kick, despite losing the Eviolite earlier to Brave Bird it for the kill on turn 18. And then...
Dang, we skipped far in the game all of a sudden.
And then, after that whole malarkey, Elfusan's Fungus then carried the endgame, putting Glammet to sleep, Giga draining it for the kill, then beating Snubble by tanking its Psychic Fangs and putting that to sleep with Giga Drain, and then beating Voltorb Basui with the Sludge Bomb for the win. Any other points that I may have missed?
Not really. This was a clean game that Elfusan won by playing better and having a good team.
Yeah. Still not over that TJ game?
No.
That's gonna haunt Pokemon for the rest of her life. Okay. SVDOU. We have Loud Winner versus Exotic 64.
Robbery!
Or
more like really bad MU.
It was a really, really bad MU. I mean, just look at the state of friggin' Loud Winner's team against Exotics. Jesus. Ugh.
Yeah, especially when, well, I guess you'll get to it.
Exotic, once again, I said that's a matchup here. Loud Winner's Glamora dodged both of Sinistra's and Landorus's attacks on turn 2, and Farigarath's Helping Hand allowed it to knock out Landorus with the Power Gem on turn 4. giving that a good knockout. Rest of the game, though, you had the Terra-flying Garganackle staying for the entirety of that game, effectively using Psychic Seed and Iron Defense to boost its defenses, and Comfey playing good support, and Trick Room against Loudwinner's remaining team, which was pretty fast and pretty physically oriented. While Loudwinner's Dragapult tried to do some Phantom Force damage to its team, killing everything but Garganackle, as Salt Cure slowly but effectively killed it.
Yeah, we were kind of thinking this was probably over when Garg went Terra flying.
It was practically over, and judging by the remaining mons in Loudwinner's team, this was basically a lost cause, because Garganackle boosts the Iron defenses, tanking most of your hits, and being physically oriented and fast bulk against the Trick Room team, that was lost.
And don't forget Icicle Crash Myths.
Yeah, that was also a pretty unfortunate happenstance, you know?
Like, sure, that wasn't killing, but what if it crit?
What if it crit? What if it flinched? What if it did both? What if it crit and flinched?
Yeah, what if it did both?
Garganackle would have been a dead mon. Okay.
Well, maybe not dead, but I don't know the counts, but point is, Shenpao wouldn't have died!
Unfortunate.
And then we could just do it again and actually kill it, you know?
Yeah, the rolls would have been in your favor at that point, so yeah.
But yeah, when we saw this matchup, the doubles experts in the chat were like, alright, who leaked our team?
You thought it was an anti-team? It was a C team?
Well, it was certainly quite the bad matchup. Not unwinnable, but not good at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very unfortunate for Loudwinner to end off his season with a loss. Exotic. Pressing on. Next up, SV Monotype Dunox versus Twinkie. This was a long game. Really.
Robbery! Although this is normal for Dunox.
Wow. You're just accepting of the
fact.
fact.
This is like the third game where he lost to a freeze. Spoiler.
Yep. Flurry versus Flying. It was a matchup of the ages. Dunox tried setting up Belly Drum.
And when you say matchup of the ages, more like a matchup that he's a little too familiar with.
He's been fighting Flying for most of these things. Okay, yeah.
For most of his games. Most of his mono games. No, most of the Rufflet mono games, we have had to fight Flying.
Yeah, Flying is... Why aren't you bringing electric or rock or ice in this situation? Come on. If you have fought maybe one or two times against a Flying team, okay, that might get a pass. But after the third time, you gotta start bringing electric or something. Come on.
No, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it was either this fairy team or something that actually had a worse matchup.
Alright.
Water.
Don't. Oh, no, that is way worse. No. Against the friggin' Articuno? No. Anyway.
It always happens. We always lose to that damn ice bird.
So first off, Dunox tried to set up the Belly Drum Azumarill. Gyarados, though, just kind of walled it, being able to Thunder Wave it, fully paralyzing it, and then ultimately getting killed by the Waterfall. And paralyzed again on turn 20. Double paralyzed. After, friggin' long game, this is a really long game. This went for more than 60 turns. Twinkie once again lucked out because Turn
51.
Turn 51. Flutterman was in a
I
good.
knew it.
Turn 51 Flutterman was in a good position. It was under freaking Reflect. It was up against Articuno. Surely it could do some damage, right? And it had Power Gem as well, so it can beat it, right? Freeze Dry.
Right.
Freeze Dry. Lost 23% of its health. Freeze. And then it wouldn't be sent out after Klefki already set up Reflect, and the Reflect setup was already over. Facade didn't hit by Gliscor did not hit the Fluttermane. It eventually thawed out on turn 60, dealing the Moonblast damage before dying to the knockoff from Gliscor.
Yeah. Unfortunately, had we known it would thaw out, I mean, not like we can know that, but had we, in theory, preserved it, not that we knew there would be a reason to, perhaps this would not have been quite as lost.
Mm-hmm. Then, turn 67, Dunox did get some measure of revenge by crit killing a paralyzed Corviknight on turn 67 with the Iron
I don't know if that crit even mattered, McCoy. That was a life orb, Iron Valiant, after all.
But it was still a measure of revenge, so accept it.
Not enough vengeance!
Twinkie then won the game with Articuno killing Primarina and Gliscor killing Heatran. So yeah, this was robbed once again. Turns 77 turns, but 77 turns of pure robbery, as Pokeart did say.
No, I'll give Twinkie credit for playing well.
He did play well, yes.
The sequence of going back and forth between Ice Punches and Thunderbolts was, for the most part, played quite well. He definitely fooled us at one point.
Oh yeah, he was out predicting.
Let's see, what turn was it? Okay, he switches in Corby for the Ice Punch. He switches back in Gliscor for the T-Bolt.
Oh yeah, that's sequence.
He protects against the Ice Punch. And then Dunox figured, okay, that means he's totally switching in Corby now, because that's what he's been doing. Nope, he stays in, takes the Thunderbolt, and facades it into low health.
It was a good turn by Twinkie there. Very, very well played. Couple of turns there. So yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I have to admit, I would have totally Thunderbolted there too.
Yeah, I think anyone would.
I was totally expecting the Corby switch in myself.
Anyone did, yeah. So yeah, good job for Twinkie for pulling off that win, even though that freeze on Fluttermane sucked.
Yeah, but this is the Dunox experience, I think.
the Dunox experience tour.
To be robbed.
And face
or
flying.
Or not to be robbed.
And face flying.
That's just the question.
Stop facing flying. Stop facing flying. Okay.
It wasn't specifically Dunox who kept facing flying.
It was
it was our mono slot in general.
So bring electric next time. All right, next up we have the Phantom Trout versus the Sunny Shore Snorlaxes, who tied 5-5, and it was a very close one. It was a very close race between these two. It was really close on determining who would make finals, and it ended up being a tie. So, first off, we have SVOU 3D versus Inafable. Very, very hard-hitting plays on the first couple of turns. Dragonite doing heavy Ice Spinner damage to Tornadus, despite...
And when you say heavy, you mean around the same amount as a Great Tusk,
apparently. Despite losing the Choice Band, knockoff plays by Inafable's Great Tusk ridding of 3D's heavy-duty boots and choice scarf, leading to the bleak wind storm play by Tornado in turn 10, which was very nice. Another appearance of the Terra Fairy Goldango. It proved to be quite unkillable for a bit, as Cinderace first off, Great Tusk was unable to kill it by Earthquake, trying to predict that, he would not Terra, but he did. Cinderace then came in, and it was just unable to kill it. It had Super Fang, which is an interesting bring, and Pyro Ball, and could not kill this Terra Fairy Goldango for the life of it.
It's okay, though. It did not need to kill it, because despite the fact that Inafable was leading in Mons for most of the game, I never saw this as Inafable being ahead at all. I always saw 3D being ahead because of what he had.
Yeah. So, Shadow Ball...
He didn't need to kill the Goldango then. All he needed was to get it in range. Keep it in range.
Yes, so after the Shadow Ball killed the Cinderace in turn 20, Kyurem decided to come in and basically MVP'd the rest of the game as Ice Beam just wrecked house on Mr. Inafable's team here. Goldango dead, Slowking also dead after a Sludge Bomb attempt. Lived in E-Speed from Dragonite, so maybe if he had kept the choice band, Dragonite would have killed the Kyurem, but no.
Well, it's not his fault he lost it.
Yeah. And leading to Great Tusk...
3D knocked it off, so blame 3D for making him lose it.
So Great Tusk ultimately Terra Water to withstand Samurot's Aqua Cutter and Earthquake it and Garganackle for 3D to win.
Yep. No matter how many Mons down 3D was, I never saw him as being behind in this game because Kyurem is excellent here.
Kyurem's very good, and he pretty much well kept it for the most part.
Yeah, that is a Specs Kyurem, and seeing the damage output from it, I'm like, oh, this thing is gonna tear things up.
And it did.
This kind of wins 3D the game. This is the matchup. This is the deal breaker here.
Yeah, it was MVP. It won the game. It was a Kyurem. It was a Choice Specs Kyurem against a pretty weak team to Choice Specs Kyurem. What more could you ask for? Alright, next up we have SVOU. We got Mimikyu Stardust versus Botsy. Mimi had the advantage early on when Slowking managed to poison Alomomola on turn 7, and Gliscor managed to knock off its leftovers, trapping it later with Heatran via Magma Storm to kill it on turn 15.
I gotta say, that poor Alomomola. Had it not gotten poisoned, and perhaps had it had boots instead of lefties,
it would have
survived a bit longer.
Great Tusk then burned, then it got burned through Heatran's Flame Body, which, was unfortunate. Rapid Spin, definitely.
It's so funny when I saw that turn, because, when I saw that Mimikyu Stardust had beaten Botsy, my thought was, perhaps a little hacks was involved here, because I'm under the impression that Botsy's the better player. And then he hits the Heatran. I'm like, imagine if this is Flame Body and it burns. And then that is exactly what happened.
Yep, and that's exactly what happened, putting momentum more on Mimikyu Stardust's side, with the Great Tusk being burned. Terra Water Garganackle tried to carry for Botsy, using Curse and Salt Cure to knock out Samurott Hisui and denting most of
the to knock out the Mon with Encore. Which should have been pretty good for that Garganackle later game, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, it was too low, and it got died to Assault Cure. And Zamazenta only got to do... What did I say? Crap.
Did you just say the Garganackle got too low and died to a salt cure?
Samurott died to a salt cure and got too low, okay? So yeah.
But that's the... I just said that was good for Garganackle.
I know! That's why Samurott died. Anyway, the Zamazenta got to do minimal body press damage to Enamorus, which was okay. Dragonite then O-code Heatran at turn 51 and tried to E-speed kill Meowscarada with the Terra Normal boost. However, it lived and only managed to hit Triple Axle once.
Unfortunately.
Also, it was Balloon. Air Balloon Meowscarada, which...
No.
It was...
I think you missed an early turn in the game.
Oh, the trick?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. It was still funny, okay? Oh, he tricked it.
Not really.
It was still funny.
He tricked the Heatran, and a balloon's a perfectly normal item for a Heatran.
I know, but it's still funny to see a floating cat with an air balloon.
Oh. Now, when you put it that way, you should have put it that way to start. That is funny.
It was extremely funny. Anyway, the E-Speed got to live the Meowscarada, but managed only to hit one Triple Axle. And then Garganackle tried setting up again with Cursed against the Swords Dancing Gliscor, but Gliscor managed to crit kill it with Earthquake at turn 82, winning Mimikyu Stardust that game. And Botsy was not too pleased about it.
I think you're forgetting the fact that Dragonite is the only reason that Garganackle could not win.
Yeah.
Well, put aside, the Dragonite was a pretty major reason it couldn't do very much.
Yeah. Well, Earthquake didn't, of course. Salt Cure also. Also, that Encore. Excuse me, that Encore as well.
Yes!
Yes. Okay. So,
because I will say this. Mimikyu Stardust did use their assets quite well, switching in the Dragonite when needed to encore into a recovering Garganackle, or encore it into Salt Cure to prevent it from doing that.
Which was good on Mimikyu's part. You relying using on your Dragonite well to do encore things very well against the Garganackle, which got threatened, and ultimately Botsy had to switch out a lot.
In fact, I dare say that the Gliscor coming out was potentially an opportunity for that Garganackle to turn things around, because it wasn't at risk of getting encored and it could set up perfectly safely.
But no, it ended up being a freaking threat all along because it got Earthquake killed. Crit, I mean.
Yes, and that makes me wonder how much that would have done normally.
It wouldn't have done much, I would think.
Well, it is set up at +4 versus +2 defense, so it might have done a fair amount.
Maybe. But still, it wouldn't have been a kill, I don't think.
Of course not.
Alright. Next up, SV Ubers. We got 79I2 versus Trade. Oh boy. Terapagos. That's all I'll say. Terapagos.
It tried doing something.
It tried bringing in Terapagos. Alright. So, Deoxys Speed carrying Rocky Helmet was an interesting bring. Getting to set up rocks and shipping Miraidon and Koraidon in exchange to dying to U-turn. Okay. Again, Trade having some particular moments. First of all, the Arceus Water carrying Dazzling Gleam to damage and eventually kill Miraidon via Terra Fairy on turn 15, and catching Arceus Ground with Miraidon's Taunt at turn 12. which was very nice. It was very smartly played. Eventually, 7U picked up the lead with Koraidon, beating Arcus Fairy and even Terapagos after it claimed some kills. And the ending saw the Calyrex beat Trade's own Koraidon and Ditto under Trick Room, winning 7U that game.
Anyways, I actually just looked at the calc for the previous game we were talking about. Earthquake would have done around 38 to 46.
Ouch. Some big damage on the Garganacl. Anyway.
And I don't really have much more to comment on Trade versus 7U992, apart from the fact that 7U992 just kind of played that beautifully.
It was very well played, despite it being close.
It was very close, but he couldn't. I don't know if he could have played that better. That was a great game.
That was a good game. Maybe it should have been part of the game of the year. Dang, maybe I should have included this on the awards. Okay. Next up, we have SVUU. We got Mimi Lucha versus Rocher. Part 2. Okay, so Mimi Lucha missed a Hydro Pump on low kicks on turn 6. But he counteracted by tanking Sandy Shocks' Earth Power with Excadrill to OHKO it with Earthquake on turn 11. Rocher then Terra Electriced his Iron Crown, enabling him to be immune to Thunder Wave, and killed Rotom via the Psychic Noise, which was interesting.
Yeah, that Iron Crown looked very threatening.
It was. Then Slowking managed to paralyze Ogerpon at turn 25. Terra to...
Wait, you're not gonna get how the Iron Crown died?
The Iron Crown died to a low kicks.
Yes, the first impression. It was just low enough that it would die to it.
Oh, it wasn't barely in range.
That thing took a couple kills, didn't it?
Yeah, it killed the Latios, killed the Excadrill. Yeah, it did claim some kills. And then, yeah, Slowking managed to paralyze Ogerpon at turn 25, withstood most of Low Kicks' U-turn attacks, and got paralyzed very crucially.
I'm just gonna say, as a correction, no, the Iron Crown did not kill the Latios. That was Low Kicks.
Oh, never mind. Okay, so the Terra withstanding the Low Kicks' U-turn attacks, getting to be paralyzed crucially at certain points, and managed to live on 1% for the final kill against Low Kicks with U-turn. Rocher unfortunately did not live that hit, and ultimately got Ivy cudgeled to death, picking Mimi Lucha the win. Wow, why did I word that very wrongly? But anyway, Mimi Lucha took the win.
Yeah, and I believe U-turn was a roll there.
Oh, then that would hurt if it was.
But it's not like it really mattered, because Mimi Lucha still had Low Kicks in the back.
And that was a free first impression. That was ready. Next up.
Yeah.
Next up, we had SVRU, Just Franco versus Crying. Ooh, this game was actually really interesting. Okay,
This was Just Franco versus Crying Part 2, yeah?
Oh yeah, maybe it is. And who won last time?
Franco.
Yes. So, RU had Franco having the early advantage early on, poisoning the crocodile and eventually chipping it down before it died while attacking Chestnut via Gunk Shot. albeit very short-lived, as Cyclozar eventually died to Moltres' Brave Bird at turn 22. Crying...
Was the Cyclozar getting burned worth Moltres losing its boots? I don't know.
I don't know either. Maybe long term it wasn't, because, you know, he still had...
Yeah, I don't think it was really worth it.
Crying kind of wasted his Terra-ing Cyclozar while it was in yellow against Cresselia, only managing to live on 6 before Dragon Tailing it out and using out to preserve health, only to eventually die on turn 38.
No, I understood the Terra. It was to live Moonblast and prevent Cresselia from sweeping. For now.
I guess, but it switched out anyway.
That's optimal.
Yeah, you're right. It was a Dragon Tail switch out. You're right. Okay, you're right. Yeah. So, anyway, speaking of Cresselia, Franco then Terra-steeled his own Cresselia, which proved to be quite the MVP, as it set up Calm Mind and killed Okidogi. Then beat the Moltres despite the multiple flamethrowers to a crit stored power on turn 49. Then, after a lengthy Star Wars battle with Slowbro, eventually crit killed the Slowbro on turn 57. Finally finishing off Blastoise for the big W by Franco. Anything else to say?
I think one thing Crying could have potentially done to stop that Cresselia sweep was to bait out the Terra.
Oh, was to bait out...
Basically, send in the Okidogi, switch it out into something else. I don't exactly know what he would do. And then it would Terra, and then he can send in the Okidogi again later and just CC that thing and kill it.
That would be an extra bit.
Yeah, that would have been awesome, but I mean, that's only...
very specific conditions.
You can really say in hindsight.
Yeah, it has to happen under very specific conditions, and definitely Franco, I think, knew that, so he preserved it in the long run. So he preserved his Terra. Okay. Next up, SVNU, Skeerdude versus Stories. Skeerdude thought he got the better off Stories' early turn by burning Diancie with Will-O-Wisp. However, Stories revealed Power Herb Meteor Beam on turn 5, knocking it out with ease. Which was really funny.
Oopsie.
Thought I'd like to mention that. Terra Dark Cacturn was kind of a menace, beating Mian Xiao with that nasty Sucker Punch on turn 12.
Oh yeah, Cacturn is like...
the GOAT.
It's not that good a mon. Like, it's slow, it has horrible defenses, but this thing has really good offensive stats. Like, have you seen this thing's offensive stats?
I think it was like... no, it's like 100. 100 on attack, 100 on special attack. Am I close?
Hey, did a...
So anyway, yeah, you were saying... So, again, we were saying the Cacturn stats are good?
Offensive stats, they're good, yes.
I think it was like 100, but yeah. But it was able to beat Mian Xiao with Sucker Punch, which is nice.
115 for both offensive stats.
Oh, wow, even better. Wow, okay. Flygon then tried...
Also, Mikoi, the game that happened was...
So yeah, Flygon tried setting up multiple scale shots, killing Stories' Talonflame, but falling to Ryu Nicholas' Psyshock on turn 16.
I said, you're probably wondering why Stories didn't just outright use Psyshock on the Flygon because of its lower defense.
Yeah, why didn't it use Psyshock? That's what I was wondering throughout this game. It was already, like, low, And it used Focus Blast and not Psyshock? Really?
See, I think Stories was predicting a switch into Brute Bonnet.
Okay. That'd be a very curious switch in, but okay.
What? Why would that be curious? It's literally immune to Psyshock.
No, that would just be a very... I don't know. Okay, fair enough. It would have been good. It would have been immune to Psychic. It would have been freaking... It would have been a nice play to go for Focus Blast, but I don't know. Okay. But again, running the risk of Focus Miss, okay?
There's no risk if it hits and it happens to switch in the thing it's weak to.
But if it misses, okay.
Well, what's better? Using something that's immune or trying to catch the switch in?
Better try than fail, I guess. Yeah, Pivotal...
Yeah, I mean, most people would not assume you're sacking a Flygon, okay?
Okay, fine.
Not unless you have to. Which I don't think he had to.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, yeah, after a couple of turns, Pivotal Turn came at turn 24, where the Sword Stance attempt by Captain was immediately neutered by a Brute Bonnet's attempt at close combat, knocking it out, leaving only Crocodile to die to Slowpoke Scald and eventually winning the game for Scare Dude.
Yeah, so I have to wonder what Stories' full set on the cap turn was, because I think if perhaps she didn't Sword Stance there, I think it's possible it was in range to get killed by something else.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, again, I don't know the full set, but like Seed Bomb or Leaf Storm, whichever it was, that Brute Bonnet was not high on health and may have just kind of died there.
Yeah.
Wait, let me look. My guess is maybe it was indeed a physical cat turn with Seed Bomb, or whatever else, or whatever that fourth move was. I think it's possible whatever it used could have killed, depending on what it was, but perhaps it didn't.
Okay.
And perhaps Stories did not feel threatened by what the Brute Bonnet could do, and perhaps Stories was unaware that the Brute Bonnet would be carrying close combat.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. Catherine.
I mean, personally, I expected the close combat because, well, I know it can run it. I've seen it run it, like when it's
I've also seen run
when it's used.
I've also seen run it.
I'm not entirely sure what the reasoning was, but my guess is maybe Stories simply didn't know it was running it because of her reaction of just, oh.
Oh, yeah. Just okay.
Like, well.
Alright, next up we have P.O. Drip Legend versus Druid. Drip had the advantage, we'll give him credit. Drip had the advantage early on by Toadscroll knocking off Ambipomp's heavy duty boots, despite the toxic, and having Terra normal toxicity Oko Belly Bolt on turn 11. Very nice. After missing a toxic on Mudsdale on turn 16, Toadscroll then died to poison, allowing Mudsdale to set up rocks again, and Terra Ghost to be immune to Toxtricity's Boom Burst, and was able to kill it with Body Press very safely, Druid picking up that lead shortly after. Then Mudsdale continued to tank hits and killing Bombardier, and tanked multiple Moonblasts from Florges, and roared out any potential switch-ins from Drip's side, switching to Slowbro Galar eventually. Then Druid just kind of cleaned the endgame after Ambipom was killed to Taurus's Wave Crash, having Slowbro Galar win against Drip's own Slowbro Galar with Earthquake, and eventually Poison Florges and Trick using his own Florges' Scarf to win the game.
Druid with the clutch Terras again.
Terra Ghost Mudsteel was definitely a huge, big boy clutch play, ultimately picking up that win. And if that didn't happen, Toxtricity would have likely killed everything, including the Slowbro.
Yeah, as Trey said when he wasn't paying attention to who was his teammate, he thought Druid was the one using the Toxtricity and thought, oh, this Toxtricity just wins. We chillin'. and then and that's when he realized, wait, that's not my teammate. That's not my player.
Your player won, Trace. Your player won. Be happy. Right.
Yeah, because that's when Druid revealed the Terra Ghost and thankfully killed it.
Yeah, very much cleanly, might I add. Toxtricity did not live.
Nope, and I mean I wouldn't expect it to.
Yeah, it's frail as frick. Alright, next up. Oh my god, do I really have to talk about this one? Starzama versus Hacker. What was once...
This is the game of the week, and
I'm not happy.
When I say that, I mean it in the game of all time type of way, not the fact that it's good. This is the game of all time of the week.
No, I'm not happy. Don't even call it the game of all time. I'm not happy. I'm not happy about this game, and neither should you.
But it is a game of all time. That's how we that's what we describe bad games as.
What was once the first game that they had during the weeks? It was a pretty good freaking game with Starzama playing cleanly to beat Hacker. This one was just a freaking robbery and a half. Maybe even 3/4.
Like, okay, first off, Growlithe misses Will-O-Wisp on Mudbray.
Turn 3.
That's unfortunate.
That was the beginning.
The very next turn, Mudbray Prick kills Voltorb
with the nasty high horsepower. Despite getting into static Mudbray, it was friggin' and then afterwards it got the high roll on the high horsepower to beat Gothita the turn after.
Yup.
What?
That is 3 straight turns of bad luck for Hacker.
Yeah, that was just bad all around. As Ama continued to have the advantage, Marini poisoning the Mienfoo with Sludge Bomb on turn 12, even more friggin' unfortunate happenstance there, knocking off multiple Eviolites on Hacker's team, eventually killing Mienfoo with his Voltorb Bazooey. On turn 20 actually, Mienfoo Terra Steel and Swords Dance, being immune to Marini's Sludge Bomb attempt, therefore knocking it out, losing the Poniard afterward, who then couldn't kill the Voltorb Bazooey and got paralyzed for it, only to be knocked out by Thunderbolt. And then turn 26, we saw a crit Thunderbolt happen. When Growlithe Hisui missed a freaking head smash, guaranteeing Ama the win.
Yeah. Although I will say the end game was a little up in the air for what could have happened, because I understand what Hacker was trying to do. I understand why he didn't go for Flare Blitz there.
I think we all did, yes.
So here's a little summary of the last couple turns. So obviously Growlithe comes in. Hacker personally hopes that Starzama will switch in Marini and call a Flare Blitz. Yeah. And if he does, switch in the Marini. The Marini takes the head smash, assuming it doesn't miss.
Oh, I wish it did.
Yeah, but if it was Marini and it hit, well,
Marini takes a.
let's just say that's not a
chip.
dead Marini,
It was
but
a chip
close
Marini.
to dead Marini.
It's a chip Marini, that's what it is.
It's a close to dead Marini, Miko. That's more than chipped.
Oh. What? Well, yeah.
That Marini was missing its Eviolite, so
Oh yeah, that's right. Eviolite was knocked off as
yeah, Head Smash was doing a ton. I actually did the calc for this earlier because I was curious about it. It had a range of 69 to 91.
Oh, that friggin' hacker would have had to had a friggin' close to lucky high roll as he possibly can, but you know.
But yeah, had he switched in the Marini and it hit, it would have been taking that damage roll, and then it would have actually just died to a Flare Blitz.
Yeah.
And Growlithe would have had enough to survive a Thunderbolt and then kill Voltorb.
But, you know, the crit happened and the head smash mist happened, which, you know, that's not what happened, Pokemon. This instead happened. We are living in this timeline. Hacker, that was not a GG.
Yeah, and the thing is, unfortunately for Hacker, I don't think Starsuma actually had a reason to switch out Voltorb. Because,
no.
I mean, you hit Voltorb. You see, Marini's currently at full health.
Mm-hmm.
Head Smash does not kill it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Which would have been bad.
So,
it would have been bad regardless.
So if Hacker had hit the Voltorb, then Marini would come out full health, and it doesn't die to any hits unless a crit happens. A crit was Hacker's only out had Head Smash actually hit.
Yeah. The thing is, Voltorb was also faster.
Unless perhaps... No, let me check something, actually.
Okay.
Growlithe. Or anything.
Oh, unfortunate. Yeah, and rip. Head Smash was his only out.
I wonder how much that would have done if he had it, though.
I think that would have been a...
Oh, it would have done less, actually. Oh.
Never mind. Never mind.
But yeah, because Starsuma did not switch it out, even if it hit, Hacker's only out would have been a crit on Marini. So yeah, that was basically Starsuma's win anyway from the end game. Even with the miss. The miss didn't matter a ton. The miss did not matter very much by that point, but everything else that came before it sucked like hell.
Yeah, definitely did matter. The first few turns especially. Alright, penultimate game time. Aragon versus Iwantatago in doubles. Aragon got off to a pretty good start. Okoing Dragonite won turn 1 with Ice Punch after it failed to knock out Tinglu with Outrage, and Tinglu survived a Tornadus Bleak Windstorm to knock out Terrifier Chiyu with Stomping Tantrum. Then Terra Dark Amoonguss came in and avoided the Prankster Taunt. Palafin actually dodged a Bleak Windstorm while Glamora killed Amoonguss via the Meteor Beam. It seemed that Aragon had the advantage with Palafin knocking off the Glamora and Cinderace using coaching to set up Palafin even more, even using Court Change to pass Cheese's Tailwind onto his side of the field. I actually don't know this, but you can actually, Court Change does allow for Tailwind to be swapped into your side of the field.
Yeah, I was a little blown away when I saw that. Like, you can do that?
That is in exchange for hazards, of course, but if Glamora gets to set up, hazards in the first place. But yeah, that you can do that. You can absolutely do that.
And Aragon did it twice.
He did it
He
twice.
shouldn't have been able to do it twice, unfortunately for Cheese, but he did it twice. I was taken aback.
It was good. It was good. However, turn 9, we saw the Raging Bolt surviving its Drain Punch and paralyzed Palafin via Thunderbolt, getting to be fully parad the next turn for Cheese to be able to kill it by Bleak Wind Storm, which was very unfortunate. And then Aragon's last hope was Latias, who was set up with coaching itself, so feast your eyes on a bulk up Latias. Plus attack, plus defense Latias. Set itself up with Calm Mind. However, Tien Pao's damage output was greater, and Tornadoes finished it off with Bleak and Storm for Cheese to win this game.
It's funny, Bleak Wind Storm won him the game, but very well almost cost him it too, with all the misses.
Yeah, the Cheese was playing fire with Bleak Wind Storm, but he fortunately got to do a lot of it, and fortunately it got to hit a lot of times in order to win. So
like, let's see, I think Cinderace... I think Cinderace dodged like 2 Bleak Wind Storms and which allowed it to more specifically, it dodged 2 Bleak Wind Storms when it was in range of dying to 1, which allowed it to once again court change the Tailwind onto Aragon's side. Not to mention, it just mitigated damage for Cheese, and yeah, good lord, that was closer than it should have been.
Yeah, very, very close. Definitely in the Bleak Wind Storm.
Those misses very well almost cost Cheese big time, yeah. But it didn't. Thankfully.
Thankfully it didn't. And finally, for at least for this batch, we had Royal Reloaded versus Mata in Monotype. So, it was Ground versus Dragon, which is an interesting matchup. First couple of turns really started off fast. Latios tanking an Ice Shard from Mamoswine, living on 3%, coming back to take care of Clodsire, while Landorus got to Oko Dragapult. Then Royal's Garchomp.
Yeah, I gotta wonder, why did Mata switch in that? Oh wait, no, I get why. Because of he thought he would focus Blast, but I mean there wasn't any real need to, because Goodra was out at the time. That's weak. That's literally weak to Earth Power. So like, why would he not Earth Power there?
Yeah, I don't know. That was really, really
he was clearly expecting Focus Blast, so he sent out the Dragapult. But like, really should not have been expecting that.
Mm-hmm. Royal's Garchomp then missed a lot of crucial scale shots on turn 12 and 14, losing to Hydrapple's Giga Drain.
I have to wonder, did that Hydrapple not have a Dragon move because it would only use Giga Drain?
I don't think it it runs Draco Meteor and Dragon Pulse. What am I thinking? But no, I don't think it does. In this particular instance, probably not.
It should. It definitely should have used a Dragon move on the Garchomp if it had it.
Well, Royal then dominated this endgame, using Landorus to Oko Archaludon and beat Gouging Fire. Then used Gravity against Hydrapple before finally taking it out, and Mamoswine with the Mamoswine's Ice Shard to eventually win this game.
Yeah, when I first saw this matchup, I'm like, oh, this does not look good for Mata.
Yeah. And then, in the end, Royal Reloaded just kind of used Gravity to his advantage, ultimately taking the win. Alright, and that was the regular season, but hark, we do have a tie in that situation, so we'll do what we always do and put up a tiebreaker between the...
And luckily for this tiebreaker, all 3 games happened within a pretty short span of each other, so they're all together on the thread.
Yeah, and they all played on a damn Sunday as well. Damn Johns.
Yeah, 2 of the games happened at the same time.
Yes, because we didn't think they would play. I thought they would be sequential, 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., but no!
One of them played early,
Yep. Well, after all that malarkey, let's move on now. Actually, I do want, despite the fact that we can go, since there are only 3 games, I would like to talk about these games chronologically. Would you?
Sure.
First off was Stories versus Druid, which was the first game that happened. So this was a long game, really long game. Lengthy battle first started off that saw both Gastrodons set up spikes on both sides of the field. Stories would then have the advantage since Druid didn't really have any reliable rapid spinners that could remove his hazard safely, which I think kind of cost him in that regard because, Bombardier maybe could have been the defogger, but other than that, I mean, no one's defogging.
Let me open the game. Let's see.
Maybe Fergus?
Yeah, that Bombardier probably was his hazard removal, if he had any.
But no, there was no signs of that, and instead, her Stories had the reliable Colossal, so she was able to rapid spin very nicely, but Druid cannot.
You say that, but it wasn't actually until very late in the game that Stories rapid spin for the first time, because Druid, of course, had a Houndstone.
A Houndstone, yeah, but he was able to...
blocker.
Which was the reliable old spin blocker. And Stories kind of dominated the first half.
I think Stories dominated the whole game.
Well, Stories kind of dominated the first half, taking out 4 of Druid's Mons with ease, with Hazards and Dragon Dance, Terra Fairy, Scrafty being the factors for majority of the kills. Then Druid...
But let us not forget that Stories had... let me take a look. Stories had 2 Mons with knockoff and hazard stack, so that was also pretty good.
It was very, very good. Very, very crucial for the... It was good. Very, very crucial for the Stories to have that and then put that to his advantage, basically.
In a game of who can keep your Mons healthier, I think Stories won.
Yes, very much so. Druid tried to come back with a Terra Normal Arcanine, beating Scrafty and Colossal, but had a lot of disadvantage from ever truly sweeping, such as Gastrodon's Clear Smog and Colossal's Will-O-Wisp, which really kind of hurt Druid. Well, I say that because,
I think you mean it put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, yes, because after all that, Druid tried to have his last resort be Arcanine, and we were all, I was really pulling for him because I predicted for Druid. I was really pulling that Druid maybe could have had the big win con here be Arcanine and have, after the Colossal died, I was like, okay, you may be burned, but you can still pull this off, right, Druid? No, Gastrodon was still out. And Houndstone had phase out moves so that, it was able to phase it out and prevent the Arcanine from ever truly sweeping, as I mentioned. So yeah, that ended up picking up the win for Stories.
Yeah, plus the fact that the Arcanine's boots were gone, so every time it got roared back in, it would take quite a bit of hazard damage.
Very much so. And that caused the detriment in the end. and Druid ultimately lost.
Yeah, stories just kind of outplayed the whole game. Just saying.
Houndstone then Roaring Nightshaded Gastrodon for its time, and Wo-Chien eventually tanked a crit Flare Blitz from Arcanine on turn 79 to beat it with Foul Play, lead cheating Gastrodon at the end for Stories to pick up the win.
Yep. This is a very dominant game by Stories.
Yep. Very much so. Very much so. Next up, we have Crying versus Just Franco Part 3. The 3 inning. The 3 inning.
The trilogy.
But everyone predicted Franco to win, and guess who won in the win post? Hilarious.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Literally everyone predicted Franco to win, I think.
After the 2 curb stomps that Franco gave Crying, you'd think he would pull off this win for the Trop to move on, but nope.
No. Despite the fact I predicted for Franco here, between the 3 games, this was the one I was definitely the most unsure of because we know Crying. We know Crying can build well and play well. And if it's an opponent they've already faced twice and lost to, I would think some lessons would be learned.
Yeah, well, and Crying definitely did pick up the advantage like that and, used that to their advantage. And look at the team that they brought.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm not sure if Crying would have won if Franco actually brought one of his more normal teams. Franco brought a very unusual team.
He brought HO. He brought HO, which
Webb's HO.
Which is interesting.
And Franco's a big, balanced, and fat guy.
Yeah, and so interesting that he brought friggin' Webb's HO against Crying. Maybe he wanted to get the game over faster. I don't know. It was interesting.
To bring something that I would not expect. And, well, that's what he did.
However,
it did not work out.
Yeah, Franco set Webb's early on, tried to use Revavroom to try to beat Crying very early. Beat the Palisand with the Terra Grass Terra Blast play, which I thought was very nice. However, Chestnut got to Terra Steel on turn 8, able to catch the Gunk Shot attempt, and safely kill it with Body Press. And then, later, got to beat Torterra after it Shell Smashed, and basically Rocky Helmet crit it after it died to its Headlong Rush.
Did you just say Rocky Helmet crit it?
Rocky Helmet it. Not Rocky Helmet crit.
Basically, it was low from the body press it took when it Shell Smashed. So when it Headlong Rushed the Terra Steel Chestnut, it died to Rocky Helmet, is what Mikoi means to say.
Yes. Eventually, it was the Araquanid with Custap Berry, which was interesting. He brought that on turn 12. Was able to Endeavor Cyclizar.
Not the only time we've seen Custap Berry.
Custap Berry Araquanid, specifically. It was
No, not the first time we've seen Custap Berry Araquanid, I don't think. I think Temp brought that in early season.
Yeah. Basically, it was able to send it by a low health, allowing Mimikyu to take advantage and play rough it to death. But in the end, Crying was able to take out Franco's Mew and Mew Xiao with Thundurus and Empoleon, respectively, ultimately winning this game.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that Franco brought something he doesn't normally use, and it actually had the exact opposite effect he was hoping for. Instead of Franco, who usually outstalling his opponents by outplaying and thus outstalling, he was the one who got outstalled.
Yeah, and he got cheesed for it, thanks to Crying's efforts. Ultimately, that put the nail
What?
on the coffin.
He didn't get cheesed. I just said he got outstalled. There's a
Outstalled,
difference.
okay, by his cheesy attempts. So no cheesy attempts for crying on this one, as against crying, I mean, because crying ultimately picked up this win. Very nice.
Don't you? No, the cheese was literally against crying.
I know.
It just didn't
Crying
win.
defied cheese and won. There, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Finally, 3D versus Mata in OU. This was the decider. It was scheduled at 5 p.m. and we all waited with bated breath for this game. And what happened? Well, things surely happened.
This was quite the game.
Mata's Primarina came so close to knocking out Slowking Galar in turn 12, but it lived on 4% and managed to crit kill it with Sludge Bomb in return. I don't know if it mattered, honestly.
Well, it depends on the set that the Primarina was. Also, you gotta bear in mind that normally it would not have come so close to killing. It crit a Surf the first time.
It did. The tit for tat, I guess, for 3D to beat the Slowking again. 3D even commented on this video. He did post.
Oh yeah.
He did post a video on this.
That. Did you watch that?
I did watch that, and it was interesting to hear 3D's mental game during that game.
Is what you're commenting on this game? I think you know what I'm trying to ask.
Commenting on his commenting on this game influenced my commenting. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes. Did it? Will it?
What?
Has it?
I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
I think it's more like, is it based on that commentary rather than influence?
Well, I was mentally noting it in my head while I was watching this game. So, yeah. Zamazenta unfortunately got burned on turn 18, hurting Mata in the long run. The Flame Body.
A lot, yes.
The Flame Body definitely hurt him. Terrafire Kingambit looked good, beating Moltres with Kowtow Cleave and sucker punching Darkrai to death before dying to Samurott Hisui.
Yeah, while also living a Dark Pulse on 1. Don't forget that.
Yeah, it did live a Dark Pulse, which is very interesting.
On 1.
On one. Sucker punching Darkrai to death. After Zamazenta died, Gouging Fire was pretty much Mata's only last resort, setting up the Dragon Dances. However, Slowking poisoned it with Toxic, and Gliscor used Terra Water on turn 37, giving that last-minute Terra to tank its Flare Blitz before Gouging Fire died to poison, therefore 3D winning this clutch game.
Yeah, and we cannot know if we can't know if the Sludge Bomb on Primarina crit mattered because we didn't get to see how much it would have done without a crit. So yeah, if that was a Assault Vest Primarina, then that definitely mattered.
100%. Oh, 100%. Yes.
Primarina runs a few different things, though, so I don't know what that set in particular was.
Specs,
it could have been Custap Berry.
It
could have been Specs, although I don't think it was. It could have been a few things.
Mm-hmm. It could have been a few things, but yeah, unfortunately, that was the case. So yeah. That was the tiebreaker, and the Troup moves on to the finals, and I don't care about my mispronunciations of Troup. Screw off.
Yeah, you're kind of triggering the team.
I don't care.
Other
Let them be triggered.
Who are in BLT, you're triggering Hunter x Hunter fans.
Troup! It's the Phantom Troup! I don't care if you guys are triggered. It's the Phantom Troop to me. It was spelled that way. If it was only spelled correctly as the Phantom Troop, then yes, I would have said Phantom Troop. But no, you spelled it that way, so I'm gonna pronounce it that way.
Isn't it trope?
Brother. Yes, it's trope. I don't care. They spelled it that way, so fuck it. All right, who won predictions?
Do you mean like who won between me and you? Between like for both tiebreaker and semis, or do you want me to do both individually?
I think we should do all. Well, we should do all of them. Yeah, I think it's much more faster that way.
It's not that much faster.
You're literally just saying...
It's literally just saying 2 results instead of 1.
It's just saying numbers, okay? In the end, it's just saying numbers.
Well, screw you, Mikoi, because I'm going to read them individually anyway.
Fine.
Because I didn't bother to add them up.
Fine. It's literally just a solid 2 positive integers facing it off. Alright.
Okay, so actually let me do the math real quick for ratio purposes.
Oh yeah, ratio purposes. I forgot to add them. Rip.
And okay, so that was my... So, winner of semis predicts was me.
Congratulations.
This is not including other people who predicted, by the way, though I believe I either won or was one of the best among those as well.
With, how much did you get?
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Congratulations, 60%. And how
It's quite funny. Up until the late part of the week, I was doing not good, but most of the other games went exactly as expected. So, yeah, I ended up with a good 6 out of 10.
Okay, good enough.
And as for you, you scored over half, but not quite as good as I did.
Which is?
You were 1/20th of the way short with 11 out of 20.
God damn, that's specific.
Yeah, had you gotten one more match right, we would have tied.
55%, if I'm not wrong.
You are correct. You got 55%, whereas I got 60%.
And how many did Pick get?
Pick is in last between us 3. It got exactly 50%.
Nice. How friggin', what was I gonna say? Symmetrical, I guess. 60, 55, 50. It was a number line.
Indeed, that is quite symmetrical. Now, as for the tiebreaker predicts.
Oh god. I already know what my score is.
Me and the Pick tied, and you were last.
2 out of 3 instead of my 1 out of 3. I'm proud of my 1 predict.
Yep, I got 2 out of 3. The only one I got wrong was Crying, beating Franco. And the Pick predicted the exact same 3 that I did. That was pretty funny. So, I mean, whatever the result was, me and Pick were scoring the same thing either way.
Yep. And I only got the 3D one right.
Yeah, you predicted Druid over Story, so you only got 1 out of 3. At least you didn't get 0 out of 3, though. There was one person in the thread that did get a 0 out of 3.
Which was? Let's highlight this.
Oh, are we doing that? I find that rude.
Let's bully him for getting 0 out of 3. Okay, no. Okay, no,
it's
no.
Okay, no. I'll reveal that info. I'll reveal that info later.
Yeah, you can say it in the Torch chat after this video. All right. Let's move on to finals, shall we? Let's crown a champion.
Yes.
Let's crown a champion, and this would be very
I've already
beneficial.
thought about these, most of them.
Well, I also thought about these ahead of time.
Yeah, let's get the Pick out here.
Yeah,
Yo, Pick, it's time to do your thing again.
And this one, as you're pulling up pick, this one is very interesting because this one is actually a finals between new-ish teams. I was gonna say new teams. No, they competed last year, but this is the first time they ever made finals. Good job, Dirges versus Trout.
Yep.
I had
Either way, we are getting a new winner.
You're getting a new champion, and I had these two at the. I had these two at the back half of my tier ranking of my power rankings. So good job.
Which is honestly crazy in hindsight. The Trout is really good. Looks really good.
I mean, the 7 weeks that they did, very impressive. Very, very impressive. It was shown.
Yeah.
Dirges as well. They were hightailing it. They were getting good consistent weeks at points. But sometimes they can choke out certain weeks. But hey, they've been pulling their load as well. So
I'm just gonna say though, the Trap would have lost in semis had we not taken the spot of first place during the end of main season.
Because you would have fought the Dirges, they would have fought the Dirges, and you would have fought the Laxus.
No. I'm talking about the curse of first place team losing in semis.
Oh, come on. Oh, that's right. Every freaking year, there always seems to be the tradition of the first place team losing at the semifinal stage. So funny.
Yeah, well, not every year, but it has happened for most years.
We did actually count the statistics for that one, so yeah.
It has happened 7 times.
7-11.
7 out of 11, yep.
7 out of 11, which is really funny. 4 times that the first place teams did not suffer at the semis. So first place seed. So we got the Dirges versus the Trap. Let's predict. Woo!
Woohoo!
SVOU. We got JJ versus Botsy.
Now look, I know Botsy won last time, but
Yes, they did. They absolutely did. However, JJ's gotten better, I think. JJ's gotten better. JJ is currently 4-3. Botsy is also 4-3. Both have been kind of doing their own thing in OU. Both have definitely shown that they are the best when it comes to really trying to play the game as their play styles would befit them. However, comparing these two, I would say JJ is probably the more experienced of it. Well, no, Botsy is actually the more experienced of the two. JJ, however, I think is the more skilled of the two. So, personally, I would pick JJ on this one.
Looks like we're all in agreement. The pick agrees too.
You're all picking JJ. Okay. SVOU. We got Avarice versus 3D. Well, Avarice.
3D.
Well, before you announce your predict, Avarice is 3-2. Actually a good record. Actually a positive record for once for Avarice in these team tours. Very nice. While Mr. 3D is at a paltry 6-2. 6-2 record for one of the
6-2.
Yep, one of the top players in this tour. Very, very impressive. And yes. Oh no, actually no, 5-2. Excuse me. They won against.
Oh.
Hey, still good. Still good enough.
That is quite good.
And they beat Avarice.
Better than his opponent.
They beat Avarice in week 3. The week that they met, Avarice did lose to 3D last time. I think lightning's going to strike twice again because 3D has shown that they are the better player. So we're going with 3D.
Looks like we're both in agreement, but the pick seems to disagree.
Ah, they picked Avarice. Okay. SV Uber.
Perhaps the pick is predicting that Avarice wins by an act call.
It's happened twice. Well, now it's actually happened once, but
No, it just hasn't happened.
Okay, fine. Period. It doesn't happen. Hilarious. SV Ubers. We got Sky U versus 7U992. Poultry game, this one. 7U992 is the one with the 6-2 record. Excuse me. Durgis Skyu is at a neat little neutral record right now, sitting at a 3-3. Skyu was one of those players that I was really high with in the first couple of weeks. However, as the weeks have led on, I've kind of neutered my stance on Skyu, and I think definitely he's a good player. Definitely, he's a good player. However,
yeah, the Uber's pool is just kind of stacked.
Yeah, the Uber's pool is a really big pool, and it's a really stacked pool. I dare to even say it's one of the best pools you could ever watch in BLT right now. And 7992.
Yeah, like you got FC, you got 7992, you got Ice Master, you got Richard.
And Scott, you definitely pulling off a 3-3 record. Definitely nothing to sneeze at. 7992 though, very, very impressive this year. 6-2 is a great record to have, and I think it will be the ending. This would be a perfectly bookended to his name if he goes 7-2. So let's go for 7U992.
Yep, I agree. 7U992 to win again.
Does Pick agree? Oh yeah, this happened last time.
Nope, Pick disagrees.
He's going for Skyu. This happened? Yeah, this happened, and 7U992 actually picked up the win. Good for them.
Yeah, it was a close game, though.
It was a close game, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So Skyu definitely... I will not be surprised if Skyu wins. This one, I'm not going to be surprised if Skyu wins.
Me neither. Skyu plays a hell of a lot of Ubers.
He's been grinding. He's been grinding. SVUU, we got Just Drew versus Lost Memories. I kind of get why the Phantom Trout decided to pitch in Lost Memories to fight Drew here, because let's be honest,
Rashay has had a pretty bad season.
Not pretty bad. It had an abysmal season of 1-5. Ugh, what a disgusting record.
Hey, pretty bad and abysmal are pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, well, the Trout realized that UU may be their weakest tier, so yes, they decided to pitch in Lost Memories to basically throw into the wolves. Because Drew...
Hey, this isn't immediately lost. Lost Memories isn't a bad player.
Well, he only has beaten Floor in PU, but lost to Blood Ace and Sufis, getting them that 1-2 record. However, Drew has been very consistent, despite, losing last time. 4-3 in UU is nothing to sneeze at. He has slowed down, especially in the more recent weeks, because he lost to Mimi Lucha and to Yippee Drew in the more recent weeks. But Drew's still a great player. He said it himself. He's kind of had a mid-season in BLT, but I still think he's going to go on a positive record here. I think a 5-3 would suffice. I'd go with Drew.
Yeah, I'm going with Drew as well. I don't want him to win personally, and that's nothing personal talking. I'm just personally rooting for the Trump.
It's just business. Okay, SVRU. We're getting another rematch of the rematches. We got Franco.
Oh, the pick also picked Drew, by the way.
Oh, yeah. The Felly Burn versus the Franco in RU. This one should be hype. Both players very known to be the two of the best players in the RU pool, but one is more better than the other. Franco is 6-2, while Felly Burn is 4-3, and in their last meeting, in their last encounter...
Are you sure, Franco is 6-2?
I think that's what the friggin' 6-3, because we're gonna count the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so Franco 6-3. Okay, fair enough. But in their last encounter, we saw Franco beat Felly Burn. So will lightning strike twice?
I think so.
All right, we're going Franco. We are going Franco. Franco has been the better. He has firmly earned the right to call himself the best RU player in this pool, despite losing a couple of times, especially one to Arcanine 1929. Let us not forget. But yeah, Franco to win.
The pick agrees.
Good job, Frick. SVNU. Actratix versus Stories. This one, I feel, is the highlight match. Why? Because both players... Well, actually, no. Not both players. Because Stories is 7-2. Actratix is 6-2.
Whoa.
Both...
Actratix is 6-2?
Yes. Actratix is 6-2. Only lost to Stories in week 3 and to Engineer in week 2.
Was that the one with the... Was that the one with the hail?
I think so, yeah.
I'm a little shocked. I gotta check this. Actratix is really doing that well?
He is doing
I mean,
very
it's not
well.
surprising, but I just didn't realize. Let's see.
2 victories.
One versus Slap.
He is great. Both players can call themselves the NU GOATs. Both players are the best players in this pool, and this one should be a hype game. Please don't meme it.
Alright, I agree, Mikoi. I agree. This will be the hype game.
Please
this is
don't.
the game.
This is the game that will probably decide this finals. So this one should be a good one. Please don't meme team it. Please don't. I don't want to see metronomes in finals. Yeah.
There's only going to be metronomes in finals if one team wins before all the games are done.
So, who are you picking, PokeArt?
Stories.
Well, I am a betting man. I know Stories is a great player. Definitely. She has earned her keep. After that PU game, I am fully convinced that she's one of the best lower tier players. But I think there's something. But I think Actratix is cooking. I think Actratix may be cooking something. And I'm picking Actratix to win.
Damn, okay. You're not gonna literally pick the Queen of Cook who dominated several weeks with Sun?
She has. That's right, she has. But you know what? I think Actratix may have found a weakness in her build style. Maybe. Who knows?
You were literally basing that off of nothing.
I'm nothing. This is just my gut instinct.
You were
bluffing.
You were grasping at straws.
You know what? I'm sticking by my prediction. That's still picking by my prediction, and you will eat your words when Actratix wins.
I doubt that.
Who's picking?
Unless you have proof.
No, I will not. I will continue to bluff. You are not the ace attorney right now.
I am not.
What does Pick say? Judge.
Pick agrees with me.
Okay. Best VPU from most interesting to kind of least interesting IMO. Seraph Z versus Drip Legend. Well, okay. Seraph Z is currently 2-3, while Drip Legend is 1-4. Yikes. Yeah, not a very good look. Both players have been kind of middling. I appreciate Seraph Z transitioning though to PU. I think it's done. I think he's learning a completely different meta. And you know what? I think skill-wise, Seraph Z seems to be the better player. I'm not really impressed with Drip Legend's plays. He only won against Big Tony. That should give you a sense of how Drip Legend has been performing. But against the fairly competent players in PU, he's struggled a lot. So.
Yeah, thing is that they just don't really have a great PU slot, so they're just slotting in their competent all-arounder.
And that seems to be Seraph Z, which is not a bad choice. Not a bad choice at all.
Well, yeah, that's literally what he is. He's a competent all-arounder.
Okay, so yeah, I'm picking Seraph Z. What about you?
I am also picking Seraph Z.
And what about Pick?
The Pick is also picking Seraph Z.
Alright, we're all agreeing. Good job. SVLC, we got Tempo de Anguria versus Stars Ama.
Is this a question?
Is this a question indeed? Tempo de Anguria is 2-4. Only has beaten, let's see, Blihe and a certain co-host of mine who shall not be named.
Censoring my name now, are you?
She who shall not be named. Meanwhile, Stars Ama, my God, clearly the best friggin' LC player in this pool, could give the best.
Apart from Hacker.
He's beaten Hacker twice. Pokehard.
We don't count the second time.
He's beaten Hacker twice. Stars Ama has proven to be the best LC player in this pool. Probably will give the best LC players of previous years a run for their damn money. So I think Stars Ama will be thriving in the biggest LC tours that will come about in the coming weeks and months and years. But yeah, I'm all in on Stars Ama winning on this one. And we'll end on a 7-1, which would be a great record to have. I think the Trop really scored a great LC pickup, and getting Stars Ama was the best choice.
Yeah, people not really knowing who Stars Ama was at the beginning of the tour may have been partly why the Trop was ranked so lowly, because I know I certainly didn't know who that was, and I certainly didn't know they'd end up as the best LC player in the tour.
That's why we love surprises. That's why we love these unknown players eventually coming to the ranks. That's why I like seeing new players much more than seeing old freaking experienced players fighting it out, because it's boring. So, who is picking?
Oh, Pick is being stupid and picking Tempo.
Wow. The betting bot in Pick says otherwise. SVDOU, Exotic versus Aragon. Alright, Exotic has had an incredibly interesting season. A very good season as well. 5-3, great record. And then last time he has beaten Aragon. Aragon has had quite the negative. It's definitely not one of Aragon's best years. Going 3-5, losing 3 straight weeks in a row, including against Exotic last time. But has been able to pick up good wins against Akurkokuyo, Railgun, and Panther in past weeks. But yeah, this has been quite the lackluster tour for Aragon, and this also was a questionable, well, not questionable. I mean, it's one of the Trope's weak points, as you would call it. But I think the record speaks for itself, and the way that they played throughout the rest of the tour speaks for itself. I think Exotic's been the better player. I think Exotic has been able to bring it for most of the games that he had, despite some losses that weren't good, but most of his wins were definitely good wins. So I'm picking Exotic. What about you?
I'm actually going Aragon.
Whoa, betting woman.
Look, I have my reasons, but I won't explain.
Drop bias. That number one reason is drop bias.
I wonder about that.
What does Pick say?
Pick agrees with you, though. It says Exotic.
Okay. And finally, SV Monotype, Twin K versus Royal Reloaded. The matchup should be interesting if it didn't already happen. Too late, Pokeart. Refresh the page. The freaking video already shows that Twin K already is bolded and won against Royal Reloaded.
You didn't need to say it.
I didn't, but they already saw it. The viewers already saw it.
Oh, did they see the notification?
Yes.
Frick!
They played freaking during the video. Literally while we were recording the video. No one freaking linked it. So we couldn't even get a live reaction out of the way. So,
Yeah, I was just going to Smog Tours so I could do the DT of Cacturn, and then I see the battle of Royal versus Twinkie. I'm like, is that a goddamn BLT match?
Literally as soon as we were recording. Literally during recording session. What the fuck, guys?
I clicked on it and it's already over, but it must have literally just ended because Twinkie very soon after posted that win post.
Well, to be honest, I would have predicted Twinkie anyway.
Yeah, that would have actually been the wrong predict if Royal had listened to his team.
Yeah, 4-4 for Twinkie. Well, going into this.
Yeah, Frags DM'd me about what happened regarding that. He said that they told Royal to use fighting.
They didn't listen.
Well, Twinkie brought dark.
Oh, rip. Well, we'll review that next week.
So had he indeed used fighting like Fragments and Co. told him, yeah, I think Royal was winning that. And I was going to predict for Royal even though I didn't know that.
Well, personally, I was predicting Twinkie. Well, even before the game even started, I was actually going for Twinkie, so I'm glad to take the W, I guess. You can't spell Twinkie without a W.
I think you mean you can't spell Twinkie without win.
You're right. And what does Royal Reloaded have?
Royalty.
No, L.
Frick!
Who do you got?
Well, I already told you I would have predicted Royal.
So take Royal's L. Take the L. And what does Pick say?
Pick says Twinkie. Frick!
Yes, one prediction right in the bag already. In all seriousness, yes, I was going for Twinkie early on because I knew Twinkie would be the better player despite Royal having the better record, so yeah.
I mean, Royal would have won if he did bring fighting, according to what Fragments told me in DMs.
Oh well, it's fine. Maybe they could avenge that in tiebreaker, who knows? Who knows?
If it goes to tiebreaker.
Yeah, who knows what might happen. But that will be all for our predict. That's the end of predictions, but the fun isn't over because the games have yet to happen. So thank you all for watching. And
so I'm noticing you and I predicted the same thing on about 7 out of 10 of these.
Yes, and one of them is a win.
Yeah, we disagreed on Actrotix versus Stories, Exotic versus Aragon, and Twinkie versus Royal Reloaded.
So this could be a good omen for me. Have I finally gotten the leg up? Okay. So.
We'll see. For once, we're all on equal terms this time.
Yeah, this is an even battlefield. May the best predictor win. Thank you all for watching. Please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe. Click that notification bell so you wouldn't miss a video once they come out. Make sure to vote also in the awards that I put out last week. And I actually put them in the chat, in the thread as well. And I'm going to be advertising this a lot. Because next week...
By any chance, did you add Aku Pocoyo in the overpay thing?
I did now.
Oh, good. Because I gotta say, I don't usually agree with what Balor says, but he had a very good point there.
We'll discuss the results. We'll discuss the results next week, along with my along with my thought process into making this list, because it was kind of a tough one to pull off, put together. I had to review a lot of games again. Gotta look through 300 games to friggin' see all these. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Please like this video, leave a comment. Oh, I already said that. Frick. Well, tune in for next week for the conclusion of BLT 11 and who wins in our little silly award show that we're gonna put out. Woohoo!
Ooh.
And if there's tiebreakers, there's not gonna be. Well, if there's tiebreakers, we'll add that to the freaking thing, because we really want to end this tour. Seriously, it's been gone on for way too long. It's like an anime season. All right, thank you all for watching. This has been McCoy signing out.
Goodbye. Go Trope!